Hey folks, here you can see me solving a regular Rubik's Cube. It usually doesn't take a lot of time to cope with it if you know how to solve it and practice a lot. I will solve it in 16 seconds, but there are some modified versions of Rubik's Cube that are called shape modes, and today I'm gonna show you the toughest shape modes I've ever dealt with. Let's start and take a look at this one. A lot of people call it a barrel cube, because it's shaped like a barrel. Absolutely all the corners here are rounded off. There is not clear at all how many sides this cube has. But the white is flat, the yellow is flat, and on each of the other 4 sides there are only 6 details. When we try to scramble this Rubik's Cube, even make a couple of movements, it already changes its shape. It was a rather unusual feeling to solve this cube with the rounded edges and different number of details. Just take a look at this. By the way, it looks pretty cool. Huh! We picked the right algorithm, and pretty quickly in 3 minutes, just knowing how to solve a 3x3 cube, I solved this 3x3 barrel cube. Moving on to the next one. What do you say if I told you that I have a Rubik's Cube with 3 faces? Yellow, blue and red. And that's it, just 3. Really unusual cube. Jeez, there's no white, where to start? I'm used to starting with white. 3, 2, 1, go. Though it was a difficult task, I had a lot of fun. Let me show you a few seconds of a solving process. I don't even know how to do it. How? It's not working. It took me a lot of time to cope with it. As you can see, this cube is already harder because it's 4 minutes on the timer. I had a lot of problems and solved it almost accidentally. Oh, I think I made some mistakes here. So what? Yeah, boys and girls, I did something wrong. That's it, returned! Yes, look, I solved it in 7 minutes 10 seconds. I didn't really understand how I did it, but I did it, and we're moving on to the next one. Here, in addition to the usual sides, some kind of round part also has been added. This is a Fisher time machine cube. It turns out that we can turn this cube like a regular Fisher. But as soon as we shift the center position and do the same movements back, we seem to have changed the course of time. As you remember, it originally looked like a cube. Now it looks like… oh, it looks like… this is amazing! So I tried to solve it. There are a lot of algorithms, a lot of positions. You need to be able to determine all this, and especially with such a shapeless cube, it is way more difficult to do this than on a regular cube. This cube combines a 3x3 cube, its mechanism is taken as a basis, 5x5 is the number of the elements, Fisher cube is that part that goes diagonally, these are the edges, and the Rubik's Cube time machine. 4 puzzles combined in one. Honestly, this one was one of the toughest shape modes I've coped with. Watch the full video by the link, it's worth it. Moving on. It's called, as you can see, Calvin's puzzle. Not only the size of the parts differs, but also their shape. If we make one movement, the puzzle loses its cubic shape. This cube had a lot of surprises. It is completely stuck. I don't know what to do. I cannot make a single movement, and I only started to scramble it. This was something new to me. I don't understand. How does that work? I solved it again. It looks like a defective Rubik's Cube. like something went wrong during production. I've been racking my brain trying to understand, maybe I was doing something wrong, but then I understood. The task of this puzzle is just to scramble it. But this fact doesn't make this cube less interesting. Look. Cool. This Rubik's Cube can be explored for a long time, and it's probably impossible to solve it. It's the only Rubik's Cube in the world that can't even be scrambled. Write in the comments if you liked it, and we're moving on. And the last one for today, the weird 4x4. Once we open the box, we immediately understand why this cube is so unusual. It looks like as if the mechanism of an ordinary cube 4x4 was turned diagonally by a few degrees. As you can see, here we have the centers, here are another, and these centers already have two colors, and so on each side. Just take a look at how this monster looks while scrambled. I'll start the timer and we will try to solve it step by step together with you. It is a lot harder than I imagined. Yeah, that cube was really tricky and very complicated. What's wrong with you? How did it happen? Why did it turn over? It's mean. This way, like this, and this way. This parity also moves the central details. As you can see, it took me a lot of time to solve it, and the video turned out really awesome, so watch it if you haven't. This is a fully functioning Rubik's Cube YouTube button. I made it with my own hands when I had 100,000 followers on my channel. Let me show you a little bit more. YouTube button cube has the same color as normal Rubik's Cube, but what makes it much more difficult is different form of the elements. If we try to scramble this Rubik's Cube, as you can see, it will lose its form, although originally it was exactly like the YouTube logo. Even the play button is drawn in the middle. Let's try to scramble it completely. 3, 2, 1, go! If you know how to solve 3x3, you can solve any kind of shape mode. So you have to learn how to solve a Rubik's Cube, and if you can't do it yet, then subscribe to the channel. There are lots of lessons on how to solve 3x3 cube. Support me, this is really important to me, and watch other videos on my channel. Well, that was Cubastic. This is the Cubastic channel. Bye everyone and have a good time.